Hello, my name is Brenda Jackson, and this is my interpersonal communications project for Liberty University HSCO 508 Studies in Interpersonal Communication. Next slide. Got personality? Personality can be the glue that holds someone together and could also be the reason someone falls apart. We are all unique in our own way and can complement another with the right blend. A behavior blend is defined by the predicted thought, feelings, and behaviors of an individual. Next slide. Behavior blends. My dominant nature helps me to take control of situations and delegate tasks when needed. Empathy is prevalent within my behavior blend and helps me to sympathize with others positively. I don't think you heard me. A personal barrier I have is listening effectively. Listening is taking in information from speakers, other people, or ourselves while remaining non-judgmental and empathetic. It also involves acknowledging the talker in a way that invites communication to continue. Communicating and listening. Listening to someone speaking can help to form identity within yourself. Communication builds when both parties have a clear understanding of what is being said amongst each other. My barriers and roadblocks with conversations have stopped me from building important relationships. Next slide. Barriers to listening. My barriers include feeling misunderstood and withdrawn and pretending to be happy when I am the opposite. During a conversation, these feelings can deter me from creating an effective conversation. Difficult conversations threaten our identity and can affect the way we interact with one another. Personality and identity. According to Burley Allen, the identity you thought of as your own personality is not made up of your own desires and impulses, but is formed, performed, and expressed within a set of social patterns and judgment built up by values and practices, a community or culture through relationships that people have with one another. Next slide. Inhaling versus exhaling. Effective communication involves both inhaling, listening, and exhaling, responding. This refers to how well you listen and how you return the information given to you. Being able to listen has taught me how to reflect on what I hear and at the same time paraphrasing all of the information. Next slide. Self-disclosure. Practicing self-disclosure amongst my family and friends has taught me how to reveal myself to others. The more interactions I have with others, the more awareness of myself and how I am perceived will increase. Next slide. Barriers. Another barrier that I possess is trying to give advice to others when advice is not needed. Trying to be a problem solver may cause more issues within the conversation. An important factor throughout the conversation is to listen to the underlying meaning of what is being said emphatically and non-judgmentally. Barrier solutions. This will help talkers to solve their own issues and will help to build trust. Another solution is to provide feedback of what is being said or done, along with a guess at the feeling behind the words that are spoken. Barriers and solutions. Giving advice goes along with my bossy nature. The solution to being a good listener is being non-judgmental and to think ahead when the other person is talking to you. Next slide. Listening. Listening to yourself by being aware of my own beliefs, your internal thoughts, processes, helps the listener to hear the communicator with intent to understand and respond appropriately. Listening to our brain can help to choose the words and responses we use to communicate with others. Listening within. When communicating, I oftentimes listen to my emotions when responding to someone. Listening to my heart puts ownership and openness into our own words. This term is also called flat brain. Here your emotions overtakes logical thinking. Building a conversation. Listening within provides clarity so that we better understand the conversation. Peterson explains that there are steps needed in order to help build a conversation. Building a conversation. Step 1, giving your point of view. Step 2, sharing your personal feelings. Step 3, providing clarity throughout the conversation. Next slide. Negotiations. Negotiations during the conversation can help the dialogue flow without any interruptions. This can help to determine who should talk and who should listen. Fears and tears. Fear is another barrier that I possess and look to overcome. Within the fear realm comes doubt and anxiety. Tears can also slow down the communication process and alter the flow of the conversation. Barriers. Both barriers should be addressed with the appropriate response. They should not be ignored. Being attentive and open for change can help to improve the conversation. Communication jeopardy. Communication for 400. Expressing my feelings by allowing me to think about what has made me upset or sad. Answer. What is effective communication? Correct. Communication for $500. Being honest about what you hear and what you understand. Answer. What is effective communication? Correct. Next slide. Communication. Maintaining a genuine warmth that shows empathy will ultimately help me to become a better communicator. Excellent communication involves appropriate self-disclosure, behavior flexibility, interaction management, and social skills. As a lifelong learner, I seek to understand and challenge the assumptions that lie below the surface of every conversation. This concludes my presentation.